Is there any advantage or disadvantage at being a lone type of person when it comes to studying? Or maybe it could be better to study in a group of people, so together with other people, and be more sociable? Well, I don't think there is a straight answer to this, but I can give you my answer based on my experience. When I was younger, especially a teenager, in my late teens, and then in my early 20s, I used to be much of a loner. I used to study by myself, and I used to think about problems by myself. And sometimes I even isolated myself from other people, which is not really a good thing when it comes to social life. I remember that I had less of a social life than I have now. I was more of a solitary person. Then, when I started to become more mature, and after I finished university, I tended to become more sociable and be able to sympathize more with people and stay with people more, which I think is a part of one's character which is nice to have. But I also think that there are some advantages to being alone, especially when studying, because you have much more time for yourself and you can think without being interrupted by other people. Sometimes in your life, in order to improve your knowledge, I think that staying alone is a right choice. It's good for yourself if you know how to cope with staying alone sometimes. Not your entire life, not an entire year, and sometimes you should try to find a good balance between this type of thing where you're trying to think for yourself alone in some place or regarding some matters, be it mathematics, physics, science in general, or other subjects. But I think that thinking for yourself sometimes is good. On the other hand, you should try not to isolate yourself from the rest of the world for your entire life, because that would be definitely counterproductive. It's not good, because knowing people, getting to know other people, gives you other skills that you would not acquire if you stay alone, stay for yourself. I think that mathematics and physics, to be understood at a deep level, would require some time for yourself. So I think that you could have some benefits staying alone sometimes. Thinking about problems, studying for yourself, studying books, or reading in general can make you better at solving problems. On the other hand, if you find a good environment with other people who are as passionate as you about something, in this case we are talking about scientific subjects, that would be greatly beneficial. It's not easy. It's not easy at all because, for example, I studied engineering, so it was impossible, almost impossible for me to find people as passionate as me regarding these subjects. Because after all, at my university there were future engineers. Yes, some people loved science, but they were not as passionate as me about mathematics and physics, or even sometimes engineering, because after all, I was very interested in some engineering subjects. But the love for mathematics and physics was never surpassed, that's for sure. But whatever you're passionate about, anything in life, staying alone sometimes, for example in nature, will also give you more time for yourself to think. It is something that at some point in one's life I deem necessary. It's for those people who want to improve their mindset, who want to improve their knowledge. It's for people who want to find new ways to think about problems in life, not just about science, scientific problems. And for those who tend to be loners, let's say, I know that it can be more difficult to find other people, to enjoy being in a group of people. Because I went through that stage of my life where I just wanted to be by myself alone with some books, some scientific books, and I was happy with that. But I realized soon enough that my life was not complete. Therefore, I realized that I had to improve other aspects of my life, of my character. And other people who enjoy staying with others might find sometimes that staying alone is not too bad for one's health, for one's mental health, and for one's character. You might find some aspects of your life that you would have never thought about if you stayed with other people, because staying with other people you might be affected by these people's reasoning. You might be affected especially because you cannot think for yourself. You might be influenced by other people's opinions. That's more or less what I think about staying alone versus being in a group of people. You should find a balance between these two things. Embrace loneliness sometimes, but at the same time do not isolate yourself from the world, and enjoy staying with other people. try to improve your character as well. This might help you incredibly in your scientific life. If you are a scientist, for example, you're an engineer, mathematician, whatever you want, and you would definitely perceive the world in a different manner.